Welcome to Tita Talks. My name is Sonia Tita Popolo, and I'm your host. It is a great privilege and pleasure to welcome Dr. Lobsang Tenzin Negi. Dr. Negi is a professor of pedagogy, the executive director of the Center for Contemplative Science and Compassion-Based Ethics at Emory University, as well as the founder and spiritual director of the Lobsang Monastery in Atlanta, Georgia. Over the past 2 decades, Dr. Negi has been a pioneer of compassion training programs for adults and children. He was born in Kannur in northern India near Tibet, which is known as the land of apples and gods because of its natural beauty. Dr. Negi is a former monk who began his monastic training at the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics in Dharamsala and continued his education at the Lobsang Monastery in South India, where in 1994 he received the Geshe Larampa degree. In 1999, he completed his PhD at Emory University. And today, we're talking about the healing power of compassion, a self-care tool for you. Welcome to Tita Talks, Dr. Negi. Lobsang.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to see you, Tita, after so many years.
Thank you for being here. We are currently experiencing the greatest global transformation of our lifetime. This grand transformation permeates the well-being of every aspect of humankind. Wellness and self-care is at the forefront of this paradigm shift. And in 2020, the global pandemic created a seismic shift in life as we know it, and its impact, loss of life, businesses shuttered, polarizing politics, racial injustices, and with a growing mental wellness crisis, the world is experiencing emotional grief and suffering. How can compassion training benefit well-being, in particular at this time, given that the data shows that the mental wellness crisis seems to only be worsening as COVID cases increase?
Thank you, Tita, for this question. It's very true that the world that we are living today is really going through a very difficult time. I think that this, polarizing world that we are in, politically and in many ways, and in particular, the mental health crisis because of, the pandemic, the social distancing, and it's not that the mental health problem is something new. I mean, that back in 2018, before or 19, before the pandemic started, the mental health crisis in America has been quite high. That 1 out of 4, the adults in America, at least, experienced some form of mental health problems, whether depression, anxiety, or some form of problems with addiction, the substance abuse and so forth. But the past 2 years, because of the pandemic and the need to remain socially distanced, I think that has contributed tremendously to the mental health problems. And we human beings are social beings, that we seek connection. And in the absence of that sense of connection, we really suffer. Not only adults, particularly like if you think about the adolescents, when it's the time for them to be exploring and building those kind of connections, when those opportunities are prevented, it obviously creates a huge problem for all of us, but particularly for our young adults or the adolescents. And this is what we are seeing, the huge surge in mental health problems, and this is something that we will have to address way beyond the pandemic, this current pandemic duration itself. I think that as a society, we have to address that, and that's why the compassion is very, very relevant. Compassion, when you think about the compassion, not some kind of religious value, but compassion at its core is about meaningful connection. The way you connect with others in a certain, meaningful sense. There's a sense of closeness. There's a sense of tenderness. There's a sense of, endearing feeling. And that's what I think, that as social beings, that when we have a rich sense of social connection, we thrive, and in the absence of that, we suffer. And compassion practice, compassion, of course we all have the capacity for compassion, but if we can expand that compassion in the sense of meaningful connection, a warm feeling towards others, then I think that this can be a very helpful tool for us to have, particularly during these difficult times.
Yes. Wow. That's really having authentic relationships, right? That's really meaningful, yes. Authenticity and so forth. Yes. Yes. Thank you for joining us on Tita Talks. Thank you for discussing the healing power of compassion, a self-care tool for you. And for more information, please go to www.wellnessworldusa.com, www.titatalks.com, and follow us on Instagram at Wellness World USA, at Tita Talks Official, at We Love Tita Talks, and at Sonia Tita Popolo. And for more information about Dr. Lobsang Tenzin Negi's work, then please see as follows: www.driping.org, www.compassion.emory.edu, www.clearning.emory.edu, and www.compassionshift.emory.edu.